When Lalo Salamanca first appears in the series, he seems like the complete opposite of his stern and silent relatives. He enters the frame with a smile, charm, and a kind of frightening ease. Recall his first meeting with Gus Fring. This scene is a true masterclass in creating tension through dialogue, and I believe it's here that the foundation of their deadly feud is laid, which will become the central conflict of the entire series. Visually, it all begins in the bright, almost garish space of the restaurant. The colors are saturated, the lighting is even and commercial. This is the facade, the perfect world that Gus built. The camera holds them in a medium shot, creating a sense of normalcy. Gus, as we know, is a man of total control. He approaches Lalo and Nacho's table with the perfectly calibrated politeness of a restaurant manager. He asks,
"Is everything to your liking?"
And right here, Lalo immediately breaks the pattern. Instead of a simple, "yes, thank you," he delivers an entire enthusiastic monologue.
Are you kidding me? This is the best chicken I have ever had.
Pay attention to his intonations.
No, really, I'm serious. I mean, it's crispy, but it's not dried out. And the seasoning, it's...
He isn't just praising the food, he's studying Gus's reaction. I am sure that Lalo sensed from the first second that someone much more significant was hiding behind the manager's mask. He continues, breaking down the taste of the chicken into its components.
The seasoning, it's so flavorful.
This isn't just a compliment, it's an analysis. Lalo is showing that he notices details, that he is not someone who can be fooled by superficial hospitality. He sees the system, fine-tuned to the smallest detail, and this evokes not only admiration in him, but also suspicion. And then he makes his first move in this chess game. He says he would like to meet the owner.
But is it possible for me to meet the owner?
This is a direct challenge. And when Gus, with his signature composure, replies,
"I am the owner,"
Lalo isn't surprised. His face expresses satisfaction, rather.
Really? How lucky for me.
In that moment, they both understood who they were dealing with. This is no longer Tuco's or Hector's war, based on brute force and emotions. This is a confrontation between two brilliant strategists. And how subtly Lalo shifts the conversation to the real reason for his visit. He invites him into the office, and this is where a sharp change in visual style occurs. We move from the bright, light-filled dining area into a cramped, dark office. The cinematographer uses tighter angles, and the only light source creates deep shadows in a noir style. This technique, known as chiaroscuro, visually emphasizes the transition from the public mask to the shadow reality of their world. The light falls on the characters in such a way that half of their faces are in darkness. The sound design also plays its part. The restaurant's buzz completely disappears, and we are enveloped in a tense silence, broken only by their voices. As soon as they are alone, the mask of friendliness drops.
"And you're Gustavo Fring. I've been an admirer of yours for many years."
Look at how the atmosphere changes. But he delivers the real blow when he thanks Gus for saving Hector's life. He describes his uncle's condition.
You know, seeing a man like that can't speak, can barely move. I wanted to weep.
But then comes the key phrase.
But it could have been worse.
He knows Gus was involved, but he has no proof. And he directly says that Gus's act
It was a gesture of peace.
This isn't gratitude, it's a warning. We know what you did. And for now, we accept your version of events, but don't think we believe you. This duality, this ability to say one thing and mean something completely different, is Lalo's calling card. The culmination of this first meeting is his question about Don Eladio.
¿Alguna vez te has puesto a pensar que ese Don Eladio es un cabrón? Que tal vez le gusta esta mala leche entre nosotros?
This is an incredibly risky move. He is, in essence, proposing that Gus unite with him against their common boss. Lalo isn't just testing Gus's loyalty, he's studying his ambitions. He wants to understand if Fring can be manipulated, if he has weaknesses. Gus's reaction, his rejection of the idea, only confirms for Lalo that he is facing not just a subordinate, but a player with his own plans. I believe it is at this very moment that Lalo realizes Gus is the main threat to the Salamanca family, and from this second on, all his energy will be directed at proving this to Don Eladio. This meeting doesn't just introduce two characters, it sets the vector for all subsequent events. Without this dialogue, there would be no paranoid hunt by Lalo, nor the retaliatory actions from Gus, which ultimately pulled Jimmy and Kim into this vortex. Next, let's look at the scene in the Travel Wire office. This is one of those moments that proves Lalo is not just a charismatic thug, he is a real detective, perhaps even the best in the entire Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul universe. Notice how he operates. He doesn't burst in with guns blazing. He enters calmly with a polite smile. He addresses the clerk, Fred, with deceptive simplicity.
My friend was here earlier. Bald fella? About so tall?
Look at this trick. He gives the most vague description possible, forcing Fred to give up the necessary information himself. And Fred, poor guy, falls into the trap. He tries to be helpful and remembers Mike.
Yeah, did they find his brother-in-law? Is he okay?
This is a fatal mistake. In this moment, Lalo gets confirmation that Mike lied. I believe Lalo's genius here is manifested in his ability to use people. He doesn't pressure. He doesn't threaten. He creates a situation where the person himself, out of the best intentions, hands him the key to the puzzle. After this short dialogue, Lalo already knows everything he needs, but he doesn't leave. He asks,
Show me what you showed him.
he wants to see what Mike saw. The mise-en-scène here is thought out to the smallest detail. Lalo methodically reviews the surveillance camera footage, and we see the world through his eyes via the camera looking at the monitor. This screen-within-a-screen technique immerses us in his analytical process. He sees Mike looking at the bulletin board, and he goes there himself. He doesn't know what he's looking for, but he's sure there's a clue there, and he finds it.
Liebling, bist du schon gelandet?
Is this Werner?
Yes. Who is this?
I'm calling on behalf of Gustavo Fring.
Before this, Gus and Mike were sure that all tracks were covered. They killed Werner, disbanded his team. It seemed the problem was solved, but Lalo, thanks to his meticulousness and intellect, was able to unravel this tangle, starting with one innocent question in the money transfer office. He didn't just find a name, he found proof that Gus had lied to him. He obtained leverage that he could use against his enemy. This scene leads directly to his further investigation, to his trip to Germany to talk to Werner's widow, and ultimately to his return to Albuquerque. Without this episode, Gus could have calmly continued building his lab, and Jimmy and Kim would never have ended up in the nightmare Lalo plunged them into. This is a turning point, after which the game moves to a completely new, much more dangerous level. And now, let's move on to one of the most tense scenes in the entire series, the interrogation of Jimmy and Kim in their apartment. I believe this episode is the pinnacle of the psychological thriller that Lalo turned the series into. Remember how he appears. After all the hell Jimmy went through in the desert, he is finally home, safe, with Kim. And then Lalo emerges from the shadows. The lighting here plays a key role. Their apartment, their sanctuary, is plunged into semi-darkness. Lalo appears from the unlit hallway.
Hey, guys! I come in?
This phrase, said with his signature little smile, sounds like a death sentence, and so the interrogation begins. Lalo doesn't just sit, he sprawls on their couch, violating their personal space, making it his. He looks at the glass with the bullet hole.
Nice! I like it.
And again, this duality. He praises the object that is a symbol of the horror Jimmy endured. It's a way of showing that he knows, that he is aware, and that he is in charge here. And then he utters the phrase that still gives me goosebumps.
Tell me again.
This isn't just a request, it's an order. The cinematographer uses close-ups on Jimmy's face, showing every drop of sweat, every nervous twitch. Lalo, however, is often shot from a low angle, which makes his figure even more dominant and threatening. Notice what happens to Jimmy. He, Slippin' Jimmy, the genius of improvisation and lies, completely breaks. His story falls apart. He gets confused, stammers, his eyes dart around. He understands that he is not facing a jury or a judge who can be wrapped around his finger. Before him is a predator who can smell a lie from a mile away. In this moment, Jimmy is absolutely helpless. All his skills are useless, and Lalo enjoys it. He sees his fear, his weakness. This is one of the few moments where we see Jimmy truly broken, deprived of his main superpower, the ability to talk. And then, what I think changes everything, happens. Kim steps into the game. She sees that Jimmy is drowning, and she throws him a lifeline. But how she does it? She doesn't cry, she doesn't beg. She stands up and starts speaking to Lalo in his language, the language of logic and power. This is one of the best monologues in the series.
Okay. Are you kidding me with this?
Kim,
Do you know what he did for you? $7 million of your money. He hauled it across a goddamn desert without one penny missing. And he got you out of jail for a murder that, let's face it, you're definitely guilty of.
This is a brilliant move. She shifts the focus from Jimmy and the money to Lalo himself and his problems with the cartel. She appeals to his own logic, to his status.
What kind of operation are you running, anyway? Tell me. Because I think I know why you sent him to do this job. It's obvious. You have no one else you can trust. Right? So you sent some lawyer through the desert with your $7 million? No offense, but you need to get your house in order.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She presents Jimmy not as a liar, but as a hero who went through fire and water for his client. I read a thought on Reddit, and I completely agree with it, that in this moment, Kim isn't just saving Jimmy. She herself is taking a step into the game. She proves that she is not just the lawyer's wife. She is a player, capable of thinking just as coldly and calculatingly as Lalo himself.
If you don't trust your men with your money, you have bigger problems than if you trust Saul Goodman.
And look at his reaction. The camera lingers on his face, and we see a flicker of surprise and even respect. He did not expect such resistance. This dialogue alone changed the dynamic of the relationship between this threesome. Lalo leaves, but now he knows that Jimmy has Kim, smart, brave, and unpredictable. This knowledge will eventually lead him back to their apartment in the 6th season. It is this scene that lays the time bomb that will explode with the death of Howard Hamlin. Lalo doesn't just change external circumstances, he penetrates the very core of the main characters' relationships and changes them forever. The culmination of Lalo's entire journey and his influence on the series are the events shown in the final seasons. His return from the dead is in itself an event that turns everything upside down. Gus Fring, the man who calculates everything 10 steps ahead, was sure that Lalo was dead. His entire strategy was built on this, and when Lalo returns, Gus's entire system collapses. A paranoid hunt begins, which reaches its peak in Jimmy and Kim's apartment. Let's recall that terrible evening. Howard Hamlin, a completely innocent man, ends up in the wrong place at the wrong time. He comes to tell Jimmy and Kim everything he thinks of them. And right in the midst of this emotional scene, Lalo appears, calmly, with the same predatory smile. When Howard asks him,
Who are you?
Lalo replies,
Me? Nobody. I just need to talk to my lawyers.
The lighting in the room is subdued, intimate, with only one candle burning. This creates a false sense of comfort. Lalo appears in the doorway, his silhouette contrasting with the light from the hallway. He is like a shadow invading their world. And what happens next is, perhaps the most shocking and pivotal moment in the entire series. Lalo kills Howard, cold-bloodedly, without hesitation. And the direction here is simply brilliant. At the moment of the gunshot, the candle flame, the only source of light and warmth in the shot, is extinguished by the muzzle flash. This is an incredibly powerful symbolic move. Jimmy and Kim's world plunges into literal and metaphorical darkness. The sound of the shot is deafening, after which we only hear ringing in our ears, a technique that makes us experience the shock along with the characters. I believe it is at this very moment that their relationship fractures completely. They realize that their games, their cons, have led to a man's death. The mise-en-scène emphasizes this rupture. Howard's body lies between them and Lalo, physically dividing their world into before and after. And the one to blame is Lalo, the monster they themselves let into their lives. But Lalo doesn't stop there. He uses Jimmy and Kim as pawns in his final, most important game, the game against Gustavo Fring. He sends Jimmy to kill Gus, knowing it's impossible, simply to divert attention. And he himself goes after the real prize, proof of the super lab's existence. And so, the final confrontation in the unfinished lab. Lalo has cornered Gus. Here, the camera work changes again. Lalo uses a handheld video camera, and we see part of the scene through its lens. A shaky, dirty image, full of static. This technique contrasts with the polished, static cinematography of the series, and creates the feeling of a documentary chronicle, the proof Lalo is so desperate to get. He forces Gus to give him a tour of his future creation. Lalo has finally gotten what he wanted for so long, proof of Gus's betrayal. But Gus, even on the verge of death, remains a genius of manipulation. I think Gus's speech, which he delivers in Spanish, is one of the most powerful moments. He knows Lalo is recording everything, and he addresses not him, but Don Eladio. He pours out all his hatred for the Salamancas.
Son unas putas. I understand. Blood for blood.
These aren't just words. This is a carefully planned diversionary tactic. While he talks, he is preparing for his final move. He knows where the gun is hidden. He knows he only has one chance. And when Lalo, savoring his victory, mockingly asks,
Big talk. You done?
Gus replies,
No. Not yet.
In that moment, he kicks out the lights. The screen becomes almost black. The editing turns into a chaotic sequence of frames, illuminated only by muzzle flashes. We see nothing. We only hear. The sound of gunshots, ricochets, screams, the empty clicks of the hammer. It's an auditory hell that completely disorients both the viewer and Lalo. Gus, accustomed to operating in the shadows, uses the darkness as his weapon. He wins. But at what cost? Even in death, Lalo Salamanca changes everything. This night becomes the dark secret that will poison Gus's life until the very end, until his meeting with Walter White. Lalo single-handedly raised the stakes in the cartel war, forced all the players to show their true faces, and forever changed the fates of Jimmy McGill and Kim Wexler. He wasn't just a villain. He was the catalyst who accelerated the fall of everyone around him.